a crow shook down on me the dust of snow from a hemlock tree has given my heart a change of mood and shaped some part of a day I had rued. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel Learning Length. As we are going through the CBSE Class 10th English book First Write, now we will learn about the poem Dust of Snow. Dust of Snow, composed by Robert Frost, is a very short and simple poem but has a larger significance. Communication between nature and human and its impact on negative human emotions is the main theme of this poem. Robert Lee Frost, born in 1874 and died in 1963, was an American poet who was famous for his depictions of the rural life of New England, that is, the northeastern region of the US, and his realistic poetry portraying ordinary people in everyday situations. This poem comes from the book New Hampshire. New Hampshire is a 1923 volume of poems written by Robert Frost. This compilation includes several of his best known poems like Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening, Fire and Ice, etc. Here, this is the poem Dust of Snow given in the content. Although Frost had been a respected poet before the release of this book, he stood as the greatest American poet forever after the publication of this book. And do you know, it was for this New Hampshire that Robert Frost won the 1924 Pulitzer Prize for Poetry. Pulitzer Prize for Poetry is one of the 7 American Pulitzer Prizes awarded annually for letters, drama, and music. Such a great poet Robert Frost was that he won the Pulitzer Prize for 4 times from 1924 to 1943. The poem Dust of Snow describes a very small incident in very simple words. But this small incident proves to be of a larger significance. Initially, the poet was in a depressed mood, though its reason is unknown, but a small incident of falling of snow particles on him changed his mind suddenly. So he felt relaxed and a sense of positivity arose in his mind and became thankful to the nature for saving his day from being wasted. So come to the poem in detail. Look at the first stanza. The way a crow shook down on me the dust of snow from a hemlock tree. Here, the poet is talking about a winter day when all the treetops were covered with snowflakes. The poet was walking by a hemlock tree, and at that moment, a crow sitting on it shook down some snow particles on him. This is the simple meaning of this stanza, but its inner meaning is quite significant. Look at each word and each line carefully. First, it is said that the way a crow shook down on me. The way means in such a manner. It has not been mentioned here accurately in which way the crow shook down the snow particles on the poet. Shook is the past tense of shake. The crow shook down. What did it shake down on him? The dust of snow. means the fine particles of snow. From where did the crow shake it down? From a hemlock tree. Here, the poet chose a bird, crow. What are the birds that are usually named in poems? Do you know? It may be nightingales or sparrow or peacock like lovely birds. The name of a crow is rarely used in poems. But here the poet used a crow in his description of nature. Crow is black in color with very rough voice and is believed to be a symbol of bad omen. So the thought of a crow brings a very negative pictures like depression, worry in our mind. Similarly, what is a hemlock tree? Hemlock tree is a poisonous tree with small white flowers. Why doesn't the poet write about a more beautiful tree such as a maple or an oak or a pine? Actually, he does so to present his mood and feelings here. Hemlock tree is the symbol of sadness and regret. It shows that the poet was in a depressed mood while walking through the nature. So, both crow and hemlock tree represent sorrow and negativity. Then what does the dust of snow stand for? Snow is white. White is the symbol of positivity. So dust of snow represents joy and happiness. So did the poet experience any positivity in a negative environment after the snow particles fell on him? Let's come to the second stanza to know about it. Has given my heart a change of mood and saved some part of a day I had rued. In this stanza, the poet tells us how the falling of snow dust on him changed his mind. The crow shook down the snow particles on the poet in such a way that it brought about a sudden change in his mood. That means, initially the poet was in a despair mood, but the sudden shower of the snow dust gladdened his heart and saved some part of a day I had rued. Here, rued means held in regret. Earlier, the poet had held in regret that that particular day would go to a total waste. But the sudden incident of the shower of the snow particles made him feel that the day had not been a complete waste. At least some part of that day had been pleasant for him. He felt relaxed and thankful to the nature for saving his day from being wasted. The significance of this stanza is that generally crow and hemlock tree are the symbol of negativity. But the poet used them beautifully to portray that negative or inauspicious things can bring joy and happiness too. One must be open-minded and accept his environment, which how much be negative or bad may be, but a small positive incident in that environment can bring about positivity in him and can thus make his life fill with happiness. Here, the dust of snow that is shaken up by the crow stands for purity, positivity, and joy that the poet experiences. Therefore, Frost has used an unconventional tree and bird in order to contrast them with joy in the form of snow dust. So, the moral of this poem is that we may have many adverse or unpleasant moments or situations in our life due to various reasons like others' behavior or attitude or any other negativity in our surroundings. But we should not be depressed or hopeless, because in that environment there are also some positivity which we have to find out that can change our mood and fill us with joy and happiness. Therefore, Robert Frost had quoted, "Always, always a larger significance, a little thing touches a larger thing." And come to the literary devices used in the poem. To make the poem emotional, attractive, and beautiful, poets generally use many literary devices. Here in this poem, Dust of Snow, Robert Frost also used some poetic devices. First is the rhyme scheme. Look at the first stanza. Here, crow in the first line rhymes with snow in the third line, and me in the second line rhymes with tree in the fourth line. So the rhyme scheme here is AB, AB. Similarly, in the second stanza, heart in the first line rhymes with part in the third line, and mood in the second line rhymes with rude in the fourth line. Heart rhymes with part and mood rhymes with rude. So the rhyme scheme here is CD, CD. Then another important device used in the poem is enjambment. Look at the total poem. Here, from the beginning of the first line to the end of the last line, there is only one full stop here. And there is no punctuation mark in between any lines in the poem. That means, though there are 4 plus 4 equal to 8 lines in the poem, all lines belong to a single sentence. This is enjambment. Enjambment is a literary device in which a line of poetry carries its idea or thought over to the next line without a punctuation mark. That means it is the continuation of a sentence without a pause beyond the end of a line or stanza. Here there is only one sentence that continues from the beginning of the first stanza to the end of the second stanza. Here the use of enjambment encourages the reader to continue reading from one line to the next, since a single line of the poem does not make a complete sense until the reader finishes the following lines. Another literary device used in the poem to some extent is alliteration. Alliteration is the repetition of same consonant sound at the beginning of some words that are close together. Here in the poem, look at the second stanza, has given my heart. Here the alliterative words are has and heart. Ho sound is repeated here. Similarly, look at the line, and shaped some part. Here the alliterative words are shaped and some, in which so sound is repeated. So, this is all about the poem Dust of Snow. Recite the poem again and again and enjoy it. Ask yourself, have there been times when you felt depressed or hopeless? Have you experienced a similar moment that changed your mood that day? If yes, then write it and share it with others. Try to write a short poem if possible. So let's close here. Thank you.